Lavinia, and welcome to the Miss Jackson experience. Yeah, I wanted to say experience, but experiment, because we're going to take it as it goes. Go with the flow. I'm going to talk about whatever and see where it goes from there. So,
How you doing this afternoon, Lavinia?
I'm good. It's actually still kind of morning, but I'm wide awake, I guess.
Okay.
It's warm outside. I'm happy.
You haven't had any of your morning coffee?
I don't think I have. I have to check and see. I don't think I really put up anything about morning coffee.
You did. Antidepressant microbes in soil?
Oh, yes. Oh, for those of you who don't know what morning coffee is, I usually use that hashtag to post anything after 12 a.m. till 12 p.m. on any given day, not normally on a Sunday, but that's what I use when things come up because it's in the morning and most people need coffee. So I like to dig in the dirt. I know that seems rather strange, but I'm country. And I found this article this morning that talked about how gardening or digging in the dirt is actually really good for like antidepressants. So I found that when I'm outside planting bulbs and pulling weeds and raking and doing all that fun stuff, that I'm not as sad. For those of you who don't know, I was diagnosed with PTSD. Let's see, it's been 16 years ago. 16 years ago. So 16, 17 years ago, I've had it. So I have my issues and battles with ongoing depression. Not a problem. A lot of people have it, especially as a veteran. So I find different ways to cope with and work through it. I like being outside in the dirt. It didn't work like last year because I had fingernails, and that was just really a horrible thing because the dirt would get all in my fingernails. I was trying to be cute and digging the dirt, but I plant things, I grow things. Makes me feel good, gets me exercise. It gets me out of my bed and out of my house. Because if without something to do, most folks who are working through or working with chronic depression will isolate themselves. So it gets you outside in the sunshine, it gets you vitamin D, exercises you, it gives you something to focus on. And you get to see results. Like, most of us like results. So you get to put in a little bit of work or a lot of work. And you can come back and see in a day or two, something's growing, something's happening. So it gives you like a little bit of encouragement. Plus you get to feel the dirt. Like, I don't know about anybody else, but it just kind of feels good. And I like the way that feels. So that was my morning coffee this morning. So
Now, did you plant some stuff?
yeah. Wow. Over the winter, I grew African basil that I bought last year, and I have a huge amaryllis plant. And I had some bulbs because I buy stuff on sale at the end of the season from like Big Lots and Ollie's or whatever, places like that. So I waited till the weather broke, like 2 days ago, because, March is playing with me. And I planted 3 rose bushes that have been riding around in my car for like a month because it was too cold. I planted 2 of the African basil bushes that I had grown inside. They've been growing all winter. So they started off like this big, and now they're like this big. So I planted them outside. And then I planted like 30 bulbs, maybe. I don't remember because I just kept opening them. And the good thing is that I left them in the shed. So they had already started to like grow out of the bulb. So I just stuck them in the ground. And then my amaryllis plant I've had for years, and it has babies and grandbabies and great-grandbabies, and I ended up with 28 amaryllis plants off of like 1. So yeah, so they're all in pots and everything, and I've done that part. I still have to separate another amaryllis plant. I'm growing like, maybe 15 or so more African basils. I have to do the pineapple sage. I'm growing onions and garlic. That's pretty easy.
And this is all for,
Me.
I mean, salads.
The
Giving them away. I mean,
the African basil smells good and it attracts bees. Like, I'm really concerned about having bees, like, and not having bees and butterflies and birds and things like that. So I found last year when I put the African basil out, the bees like it. So I was like, ooh, that's easy. And so because we're killing bees with all the pesticide.
and you're not afraid of bees.
No, not honeybees.
Okay.
No, the other bees that kind of stink, yeah, I don't like them. But these are just the little itty bitty, and they don't bother you. Like, they just come and they pollinate and they go on about their business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're kind of doing your Mother Earth contribution.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What about this black girl magic thing about these mermaids?
I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I didn't get a chance to like really, really get in depth with the article, but the idea that we have black mermaids.
I have to clarify that we are not evil mermaids. We're not evil mermaids. We're predators. It's just like, a lion or a shark. Like if you happen to be in the territory and we happen to be hunting in the water, you will be hunted.
And what I love about them too is they, because I think like when you're classically thinking about mermaids, there's just this definite like woman in like upper half and then this very clearly fish lower half. And I think the way that they've done it is kept it at this middle ground between being something very beautiful and kind of ethereal and otherworldly, but at the same time it's really gnarly.
They do not understand how dangerous they are and the fact that they are top-level predators and they will bite your head off if you cross them. And they eat sharks for breakfast.
Yeah, it's a very big transformation, and I think it's interesting to see that they can occupy land and sea, but that it's hard for them to do that. So
It's
I think
not a
that's
quick
interesting.
walking on and off. It's a complete, you go in a different world and it's painful. It takes a lot out of them.
Like, that is just so cool and so dope. And that it's really a show. Like, it's not a conversation in somebody's imagination or in a book somewhere. It's like a real thing where people don't have to imagine what a mermaid looks like that's not white. And it's...
So it's a whole story. What's it called again?
I don't remember.
Siren?
Yeah,
So it's a movie or is it a TV show?
a TV show.
Okay. Do you know what channel it's going to be on? Probably sci-fi or something like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Either way, so the whole show is about a village or whatever of black mermaids, or the black mermaids are...
Like, they're black mermaids, and the black women are centered in the story. First of all, like, they're not like extras. They are really centered in the story, and the mermaids help tell the story of how things came to be.
1 hour later!
And it counters the narrative that black people don't swim. Okay. So, and that's the other thing, is that it really, really counters the narrative. And for me personally, I'm probably going to watch this show because I was in the Coast Guard. And while I was in boot camp, now, mind you, I was not like an Olympic swimmer. I could swim, but I could not swim the way that they wanted you to swim. I swam on the bottom of the pool. Like, I didn't swim on the top. I took several swimming lessons, but I don't know about y'all, but we went to a public pool, and I was a skinny chick, and skinny chicks always got tossed, like, across the water, because it's what you do. So I learned how to really swim by default. Love my friends. But that's how I learned how to swim. So I had to know how to swim in between people's legs and do all that kind of stuff, So when I got to the Coast Guard, they were like, you can't swim like that. You have to swim on top of the water. I was like, dude, what? And then you had to swim for distance and stamina and all. I was like, I'm swimming to escape people. I ain't swimming for... that ain't even my deal. So the swim instructors literally told us and told me personally that black people cannot swim because our bones are denser. This is why we sink. And I was like, excuse me? Are you serious right now? I'm 102 pounds. I ain't sinking. It's how I learned how to, it's a difference. And so I swam every day. Plus I worked out every day. Swam every day. My company happened to be about 40 people. I think we had about 100 and some people in my company. So we had about 40, 50 people that were black. Of the guys that were swimming, several of them immediately passed the swim test. Like, they were like, this ain't nothing. And I was glad. I was like, yay. They were like, you can't swim? I said, no, I can't swim like that. So I passed my swim test the day of graduation from boot camp. Like, I literally passed. And the only reason that I passed was because I had been working out. I was tiny. It had nothing to do with some stupid, fucked up density of my bones because I can't swim. So I'm excited to see the mermaids with the flowing hair or locks or whatever in the water, you know, swimming, doing what they do because, you know, contrary to popular belief, there are swim teams at HBCUs. There are black girls that swim. They just don't look like the other ones. Like, so I'm excited to see that because, again, I know what I lived through. I know why my children have fears of going in the water. I know that they get picked on. I know that we don't have the shape, you know, when you want to, so we want to cover up. We want to do this. We don't want to engage in the water. And I'm like, go get in the water, bye. Didn't y'all realize that, you know, slave ships, Ghana, the Ivory Coast, all of West Africa, South Africa, you know, if you go on the edge, just ain't nothing but water. What, we can't swim? Like, it makes no sense to me. You know, it makes absolutely no sense to me. So that's why I'm excited about Siren. And, you know, I'm really, really excited about that. That makes me happy.
Now, I want to change the narrative real quick.
Okay.
The fuck? How you spell that?
DAFUQ.
And do you know what I'm about to talk about?
No.
Okay. Christian college students went in blackface to mock Black Panther and happily posted the image on Snapchat.
I'm so tired. Now,
Okay, first of all,
I'm going to go back to the fuck.
did you enjoy the Black Panther movie?
Oh, Wakanda Forever. Oh, it is a wonderful movie.
And just breaking records.
Yes, it's a wonderful movie, and the story is so universal. It is so universal, and it doesn't matter if your life has been touched, like most people on this planet, by colonialism. You get Black Panther. You understand Black Panther, whether you are a Marvel head, comic head, or not. You don't have to know the entire history and the narrative, you know, that comes along with Black Panther, even though it's great. And it's good if you do the research before you see the movie 14 times. Go find out about where the character came from, how many changes it went through, that it's not actually related to the Black Panther Party. Do all of that before you go see the movie. It's good. But you don't need to do that in order to appreciate the excellent storytelling, the excellent imagery, the nuances and the layers that Glover puts into that. Like, he put work into telling a beautiful, tragic, sort of antithesis kind of story that leaves you hanging. And that takes, like, great vision. So I started the fuck because I couldn't think of any other way to say it. I used to say puke mad. That was another hashtag that I had like last year because I got so mad literally that I wanted to throw up. And I used to say the fuck a lot, but I wouldn't say F-U-C-K. I thought that was kind of, boring. I wanted to change the spelling, and Facebook didn't say anything to me, so I just went the fuck. And it just, the idea that white people, young white people, college students are getting traction for going in blackface at